Durga. So there was Durga. You mean Goddess Durga? I smiled and continued. So there was Durga, thoroughly exhausted during the morning rush hours, preparing and packing tiffin for her 4 young children, dropping them off to school, then picking up stuff from the grocers, making lunch, and by then it was time for the youngest one to return home. So she'd pick him up and give him a nice cold bath and help him change, and with some nice story get him to eat. He was a fussy eater, and then she'd go pick up the other kids from school and look after them. Oh, and did I forget her husband Shiva? You mean Lord Shiva? I smiled and continued. He was of course there, but he was a scientist and too busy with his discoveries and the accolades and recognition that came with them. Powerful as he was, power comes with its own baggage. But Durga, of course, was ever vigilant of his needs and desires. She was uncomplaining and stoic and gave him no reason whatsoever to be unhappy with her. As I was saying, in the evening, Durga got very busy tutoring the kids. One was good in music, so she helped her practice a skill. One was good with improvising devices, helped him with those. The kids again had varying tastes and preferences, so as not to make anyone unhappy, she'd then get busy preparing dinner for them. Roasted chicken for one, sausage sandwich for another, rice and fish curry for the third, and pasta for the fourth. There'd invariably be leftovers from one of them for her. Then she'd put her children to bed and finished her household chores, and only then did she have some time to fight Asura. You mean Mahisasura? I smiled and continued. She summoned all her extra hands and eyes and weapons and courage and stood up. She stood up to fight against the desire to cry out so loud that the whole world could wake up, cry out so loud that the earth would probably shake and forest fires would ravage the earth. She stood up to fight against the desire to abandon all worldly ties, walk out of her house, to abandon the strings that pull her, that keep her from fleeing into the sky. She stood up to fight against being taken for granted, being the doormat for everyone, to come and trample over her and leave her crushed and unnoticed. She stood up to fight against the stinging pain that careless looks and words and insults have left on her soul. She stood up to fight against the bleeding bruises that remained of torn dreams and ruined ambitions. She stood up to fight against the horrors of emptiness of a life whose moments are ticking by under the weight of duties and responsibilities to be fulfilled. She stood up to fight against the desire not to see the next dawn. She stood up to fight against the desire. Is Mahisasura killed in the end? I smiled and continued.